How does it make sound?
These two coils vibrate. These are both connected to the throttle switch. So when you get past a certain throttle position, you get some information. Look at that thing actually works.
Wow.
Caution light.
So they would remake this?
Yep.
Nice. That one looks better.
It does. It's real good.
More months have passed by and we've been slowly chipping away at some things. This is a really good development here with all these parts. A lot of these are going to go up in the cockpit for the panel. Some very good finds here. I'm excited to show you original parts. We've got some switches and the plates to go with them. We've also got a buzzer that actually buzzes when the landing gear is up or down. Very similar sound that you would hear on like a doorbell when someone buzzes a doorbell. All these parts are from a very nice gentleman in Canada who's done a really good job with his airplane. It's awesome to have this stuff. I'm very excited about this. Art Deco silver grill, I'll call it. This is gonna go on the blank factory stamped panel that we have for the front section. I'll show you how this is all gonna connect. We also have a door handle out with a key for it, which is really nice. I think we still need a door handle in the inside, gear handle, as well as some lights, caution light, landing gear light indication, chain guard, which we already have one, and then 2 airspeed indicators. This is really cool. I think they're both original. They're just a little bit different. Both Pioneer. Might have to overhaul them, but really cool to have an original airspeed indicator. So this will actually go right there on the 6-pack. So we have a basic 6-pack here. Airspeed indicator goes here. It's pretty exciting. Oh, and there's also an original GE radio here. Nice and heavy, bulky GE radio. How crazy is that? We're probably not gonna use this. I know we're not gonna use this, but instead of having this here, this big box, we'll have some fancier avionics and GPS equipment in there. But we'll be able to put this over it all when the plane is parked on the ground for a static display to show what it looked like in its original time. And that's really neat to be able to use this as a cover. I stripped this instrument panel here. I cleaned everything up except the front part because the front part is going to get cut off, and then our original stamped front section is going to get put on. So we're going to use the back part of this panel, and then the front part will be brand new, and then this will go over that. So the other stuff that's been going on that's been a lot of great progress is covering controls, and we've got our fabric here laid out. Brian has been covering some controls on this table, and he has covered the flaps after finishing the flaps and repairing them, and I have been fabric stitching them. Also notice I walked in today and the stabilizers over here are covered, so let's go take a look at those. And it's been pretty neat seeing the covering process. Basically what you're doing is you're wrapping a very fancy present, and you can see that some cuts were made here, and then the backside nice and smooth. That's your only raised seam there. I don't even know if the seam's the right word for it, but you know what I mean. That's where the fabric ends up. Everywhere else it's smooth all the way around, glued, and then you take a hot iron and you iron the middle of it very carefully at a very specific temperature. You work your way up in temperature, getting hotter and hotter. As you iron this, it will start to heat shrink itself around and tighten up around the control. After that, all this right here gets fabric stitched. I believe we're doing 2 inches for this. And then another piece of tape goes over that, and then they're ready to paint. So we're getting really close to being able to start painting controls, which is really cool and exciting. And then the wings will get painted. After they're covered, the controls will get painted. The fuselage will then get covered. Pretty soon, it'll start to look like an airplane in here. The landing gear is pretty much complete. Brian had to do a lot of work on that. I wish I could show it to you, but it's been at his house, so unfortunately, I just haven't been able to get any shots of it. But we got new seals. I was able to find seals for it, and now it just needs to be assembled. As I put this control back, you can see the rudder here that has been stitched. So I fabric stitched this rudder. Brian taught me how to do the fabric stitching. I also released another video on how to do it if you're interested. And I also stitched the elevators. There's an aileron here waiting to be covered. And then I'm in the middle of this fabric stitch right now. I don't mind fabric stitching very much because it doesn't involve chemicals. You know, I was so tired of using MEK and acetone, and this isn't so bad. There's no chemicals involved. It's good to tape up your finger here if you want. It helps with sewing when you're pulling it tight. I still have like a mark here from that. As I come this way, take a look down here. All new windows for the airplane. They will still need to be cut out, but we do have new windows ready to be cut for the airplane. You can see a new windscreen right here. Brand new windscreen for a Bellanca 1413 Cruisair. We're still deciding on whether we're going to put an ox tank in. We did manage to find a drawing for the ox tank that we have, which is a vertical configuration that goes behind the back seat. We're still deciding on whether or not we want to do that. Just so you can see this, this is the ox tank. If we do decide to put it in, this is what it looks like. I believe it goes in the other side. There was another configuration with these ox tanks that went more under the rear seat. This one sits vertically behind. So there's 2 different ox tank setups. Another thing is the tailwheel assembly. Originally, it was not steerable. It'd be nice to have a steerable tailwheel assembly, but it's just, I think, too labor intensive to actually go through with doing that. So I think we're just gonna stick with a non-steerable tailwheel assembly. We'll probably not do a hard wheel. It'll probably be an inflatable. We've pretty much decided we're going to remake the whole cowling, I think. Maybe some parts we have are usable, but we still haven't decided what we're gonna do about the engine, one step at a time. What you're seeing around here is pretty much, you know, controls being covered, really neat. All this new stuff that we got to go up in the front and the cockpit's really exciting. And the yokes I have not sent off yet. If anyone knows a good place to send yokes off, something that's not just your standard powder coat, it'd be nice to have a reference for that because we do still want to send out the yokes and get them colored to that original cream color. And I think we've decided to go with a paint job that's pretty similar to this one over here. Let me show you. So what we have here is some original color scheme documents. And right in the first page, you have January 1947. And we're gonna go with a paint job that is similar to that one right there. And there's another picture of it as well. New York to the Golden Gate. It's Bellanca for cross-country flying. Bellanca Aircraft Corporation, Newcastle, Delaware. There's some interesting facts about this airplane. One of them is it was used by NACA. That's the organization before NASA. Basically went up to space and checked the gliding capabilities of some of these machines. And the Cruisair was one of the planes that they tested. And some of these planes, they had to seal the cabin because they were going up so high. Beautiful wingspan. Mahogany wings have just been sitting over here for a while now, and all we have to do is sand them and cover them. We've got the fuselage on this rotisserie system, just waiting to be rotated, covered with fabric. Oh, that's f***ing heavy. Just want to look at one thing. Let's see what happens if I do this. Interesting. So that's a different configuration. You see that? It doesn't match up. So whatever came with this project, this 6-pack here, a different configuration than what we have from this Art Deco grill. That's one of my favorite things that we've been able to get a hold of. I liked this look so much that I was gonna have one made. So to find one that's already made is always just such a good feeling because it saves so much time. Anyway, so that's about it for the update on this project right now. And I got some fabric stitching to do.